Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Today I thought we would start talking about the different types of ducks you can have on your farm. There are a lot of different breeds, and these breeds are divided into 4 basic classes. Now these classes are typically divided by weight and size. So you got the little guys, and then you get everyone going up to the real big guys. You have bantams, lightweights, medium weights, and heavyweights. But today we are just going to focus on the bantam ducks. These are the little lovelies, the tiny guys that are 1 to 3 pounds fully grown, so stay very small. They're easy to handle, they are friendly, they are funny, they're small enough that you can pick them up without any difficulty at all because they're awfully tiny. They're perfectly tiny. So they still can be used for meat. A lot of people think you can't use a bantam duck as a meat bird, but you absolutely can. They just are smaller. It's like, why do some people eat quail when they could have a chicken? Well, they like it. And just because it's smaller doesn't mean it's nothing. So you absolutely 100% can use them as a meat duck. All of the breeds you can, all of the bantams. You just have to know that obviously you're going to get less meat out of a bantam than you would a heavyweight. So they also do lay eggs because they're birds. They still lay eggs, but they do lay significantly less eggs than, for example, a lightweight or a medium weight bird. So yes, while they'll lay eggs, the eggs are smaller than a standard duck egg, and they will lay fewer of them. A lot of the times people do not actually eat the bantam eggs. They hatch them and sell the babies because there is more profit in selling the baby ducks as opposed to selling eggs. So a lot of the time people just don't eat them because they'd rather hatch them, but you absolutely can eat the eggs and you absolutely can have the meat. They also make amazing pets. These are really, really versatile animals. So get them as a meat duck, get them for eggs, get them as a pet. They can fulfill all of those different things. So just like other ducks, they'll still eat bugs, they'll still eat slugs, they'll still chomp on the weeds in your garden and in your lawn. They do it just as well as the bigger ducks. They just do less of it. So obviously they're a lot smaller. They won't eat as many bugs. So they're still a duck. They do all the duck things. They're just super adorable and smaller. They do fly though. This is one of the things people don't often notice, but it is true. Most of the small bantam ducks fly. So if you are in a situation where you can't have them flying around, you might need to either pen them up or clip their wings. It is still possible to free-range ducks that fly. You just have to make sure they really know where home is and that they always go home before you just leave them out, because they will fly. And the flying actually helps them get away from predators that are on the ground because they can fly up into a tree instead of the fox catching them. Because remember, they are small, they are subject to more predators than a larger bird would be. The downside to them flying is they make a target for out of themselves for the owls and hawks and eagles in your area. So around here, if you have ducks flying around, probably the bald eagles are going to snatch them. So you do have to be a little more careful because they are fairly small. They make a really good target for birds of prey. So they do eat less than your larger birds. That's pretty normal. They are prone to gaining a lot of weight because sometimes they'll overeat. So you want to make sure they get lots of exercise, and you do want to watch that feed consumption. Make sure they're doing more than just standing there eating. Give them something to do so they just don't eat and get fat, because that's not good for them. So their size is influenced by genetics primarily, yes, but also their environment and their nutrition. So if you are going to raise bantam breeds, and especially if you're going to show them, you want to start out with a good breeding pair, a pair that meets all the breed standards and is fairly small, and you want to manage your flock really well so they don't get fat, basically. And if they're overweight, you can't show them because they do have to be in that bantam weight class to show, and you can't show a bantam breed as a larger breed because they're just not allowed. So you do need to be aware if, for example, we show an APA. So you do need to be aware that you have to keep them fairly small. So you might want to make sure they get plenty of exercise, start with good genetics, that kind of thing. So there are 4 breeds that here with the American Poultry Association that are acknowledged as Bantam breeds. Now, obviously, there might be more or less breeds where you are depending on your association. But right now in APA, we have 4 breeds. We have the Australian spotted duck. They're really cute. They're really rare. These ones you hardly ever see. I think the last 3 shows I've been to, there haven't been any. And that's normal because they're a really rare breed. You also have the call ducks. These are probably what you're most familiar with. They are small, they are adorable, they come in multiple colors, so you can have a lot of variety if you are raising call ducks. You do want to be careful crossing those colors if you are showing, because a poorly marked duck often can't show, or they'll get disqualified, or they'll get lower points just because they don't quite meet the color standard for their particular color. So you do want to watch with culls that you don't cross too many different colors and end up with a poorly marked duck. You also have the East Indies duck. These guys are gorgeous. They're really exotic looking. They're definitely a showstopper. So if you're looking for something that's basically a lawn ornament and something you can really enjoy the look of, you might want to look at the East Indies duck. Still very small. And then there is the mallard, the domestic mallard, to be clear. These guys are basically a flashy, smaller version of the wild mallard we're all used to seeing. They come in a couple of different color variations, and the one we're all used to is the drakes have that green head. They're absolutely beautiful. They can be a lot of fun to have. Make sure that you're getting actual domestic mallards and not wild mallards, because wild mallards in most areas are illegal to possess. So you want to make sure they are domestic mallards, the little guys, not the more standard-sized wild mallard. But that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Bantam ducks. We'll see you tomorrow.